Imagine this. You have been saving for an entire year and now you've flown to the port and you're standing at the terminal, only then to be told you can't board the ship.
It sounds like a nightmare, but we see it happen more often than you'd think. And in almost every case, those situations are completely avoidable with just a little bit of savvy pre-cruise planning.
We originally planned to cover embarkation and disembarkation days as well in this episode, but once we started looking at our checklist, we realized that this planning phase is just too important to rush through.
It really is. We want to make sure you actually make it onto that ship. So today we are giving tip number 5 its own spotlight. We are walking you through our P.P.A.I.D checklist that includes the 5 things you must handle to ensure your cruise is a total success.
Fun in the sun, adventure begins. Welcome to the cruise course.
Alright Karen, let's start with the pre-cruise planning we always do. This is what makes the fun possible and keeps the whole experience so much smoother.
Well, Jace, if when you say we, you mean me, then yes, we like to make sure we are paid up for our cruise. It's an easy acronym to remember. Paperwork, passports, app, insurance, and deadlines.
Oh Karen, it is we, because I support you 100% in all of that pre-cruise planning we do. And I love that P.P.A.I.D acronym. Let's break it down, starting with the first P for paperwork. This includes printing your cruise documents, or you could save them to your phone if you want to save a tree or two. But you definitely should print out those luggage tags with your room number. When you get to the terminal, you want those tags on all luggage that you plan to hand over to the porters. These tags tell the staff exactly where your bags need to go. You should be able to print these out soon after your online check-in.
But if you do forget your tags or end up needing extras, they usually have blank ones at the port. However, one of the most important pieces of paperwork is the guest special needs form. A lot of cruisers skip this because they don't think their needs require it, but even a simple C-PAP machine makes filling this out a must.
It is, because you will need it to ensure the ship provides distilled water and a ship-approved extension cord, since you are not allowed to bring your own. This form is also where you request things like a medical fridge for insulin, a sharps container for needles, or coordinate bringing oxygen.
And I always use the comment section at the very bottom to request a fan. If you wait until you are on board, they might run out before you can even ask your stateroom attendant. A fan is almost a necessity for us because we both run hot, and sometimes those cabins can be a bit warmer than we like.
That fan is great for staying cool and for drowning out background noise while you sleep. It is a total game changer. Also, before you submit that form, be sure to note in the proper section if you will need assistance at the terminal, help at any of the ports, or if you are bringing your own wheelchair. It is good to know that Royal even has beach wheelchairs available at CocoCay to make things easier. Just make sure that you try and submit that form at least 30 days before you sail.
Very true. Once you submit it, you will get an email acknowledging your request, followed by a confirmation once the ship has everything set. And if you need a scooter, rental companies like Scootaround or Special Needs at Sea can deliver them directly to your stateroom, so it is waiting for you on day 1. No cap.
Yeah, I don't usually wear caps. Anyway, the second P is for passports. If yours expires within 6 months of your return date, some cruise lines won't even let you board. Now, if you are doing a closed-loop cruise, you can technically use an ID and a birth certificate, but we definitely do not recommend it.
Please just get a passport. If you have an emergency in Mexico and need to fly home, a birth certificate won't get you on that plane. Also, if you're headed to the UK, don't forget the new electronic travel authorization.
Right. As of 2026, the ETA fee is 20 British pounds, which is about 27 US dollars. Make sure you do it through the official gov.uk site. There are a lot of copycat sites out there that will overcharge you, so we'll put the link in the description so you don't get scammed.
We definitely want you to avoid those scams. Now, another tool you might hear about during your planning, especially for those entering the US, is the Mobile Passport Control app. It's a free app that can be a lifesaver for international flights back from places like Europe.
But do we really need it for our cruises?
Honestly, at the newer Royal Caribbean terminals, the biometric facial recognition is so fast that we usually just walk right through without even taking our passports back out. Our faces are scanned and we are through customs in seconds. But it is a great just-in-case tool if you are flying home from overseas. So while passports are vital, there is actually another travel mistake we see people make even more often.
We will tell you exactly what that is and how to avoid it at the end of the video. It is a tip that could literally save your entire vacation from being canceled before it even starts. But moving right along, the A in P.P.A.I.D is for app. Download that cruise line phone app the second you book. That app is your lifeline. It is how you check in and get your boarding pass so you aren't that person holding up the line in the terminal.
Since you will be using that app throughout the cruise, you should also investigate your cellular phone plan well before you ever head to the port. Just because your carrier has an international roaming plan for land, that does not mean it covers you when you are on the ship. Most standard plans do not include the maritime networks like Starlink that are typically used out at sea, and those roaming charges can be astronomical.
Exactly. The great thing is that the cruise app still works on the ship's Wi-Fi even when you are in airplane mode. On most lines like Royal Caribbean, the app is completely free to check the daily schedule or even chat with your group.
But keep in mind that on Carnival, while the app is free for things like the fun times schedule and menus, they do usually charge a small one-time fee, around $5 per person, to activate that group chat feature for the week.
Hey, $5 is still way cheaper than a roaming bill from your cell provider. Just make sure everyone in your group has the app downloaded and ready to go before you leave the terminal.
Next is the I for insurance. Trip insurance isn't just a safety net, it's a must-have. You really want to buy this within 14 days of your initial trip deposit.
Definitely. That ensures you get the pre-existing condition waiver. Without it, the insurance company can deny claims for health issues you've had in the past. If you miss that 14-day window, you lose that extra layer of protection for anything the insurance company considers pre-existing. So buying it early is the only way to make sure those old issues don't ruin your vacation and your wallet.
We usually go with a third party like Allianz because the coverage is often better than the cruise ship's plan. It covers flight delays, lost bags, and even hotel reimbursements, like if your flights are canceled. We actually just got reimbursed for a hotel stay ourselves, so it really pays for itself.
And that leads us to D, which stands for deadlines.
Yes, I actually set some alarms on my phone for the day before, the day of, and a few minutes before check-in opens, which is exactly 45 days before we sail. For Florida ports, that check-in opens at midnight Eastern Time. Since we are in the Central Time Zone, I'm ready on my phone app by 10:55 p.m. because I'm determined to win that check-in lottery and get the earliest boarding time possible.
Well, Karen, your multiple alarms are probably overkill for most people. But I will say that if you want the earliest arrival slot, you do have to be fast.
And here's the pro tip. Do it on the phone app, not a desktop. On the phone app, you can skip right to the arrival time section, grab your slot, and save it. You can then go back and upload your passport and selfies later. If you use a computer, they make you enter all your information before you can pick a time, and by then the early slots may be gone.
Are there other deadlines we need to watch out for?
Yes, Jason, there are actually. If you are on a Royal Caribbean Oasis, Quantum, or Icon class ship, you need to watch for those show reservations. They usually open up about 30 to 60 days before you sail.
But keep in mind, that is not the case for every cruise line. If you're sailing with Carnival, they've actually always been first come, first served. And for you frequent Norwegian cruisers, take note that as of April 1st, 2026, NCL officially stopped taking pre-cruise reservations for their free main theater shows fleet-wide. They've shifted to that same first-come, first-served model to keep things more freestyle.
It is a huge change. So for those free shows on NCL or Carnival, and even on the mid and smaller Royal ships, you just need to show up about 30 minutes early in order to grab a good seat. In fact, even on the giant Royal ships, there are other shows that don't take reservations at all.
However, even if you do not get a reservation, you might still get in by joining the standby line. My dad actually did this on Symphony of the Seas because he just had to see the Aqua Show Hero for a second time.
I do not blame him at all. Those Aqua shows are incredible, and it is amazing that a show of that caliber is included for free. But you should be aware that some lines are starting to charge for premium entertainment. For instance, the new Norwegian Luna has an adults-only show called Lunatic that will cost you about $45 a person.
$45 for a show? For that price, it better come with a steak dinner.
Well, it does come with 4 specialty cocktails and a souvenir glass, so it is more of a curated experience. But regardless of which cruise line you are on, the one thing you definitely want to pre-book is your specialty dining.
Definitely. Whether it is Fahrenheit 555 on Carnival or Cagney's on NCL, it is almost always cheaper to reserve your dinner in the app before you even leave home.
Additionally, on Royal Caribbean ships that offer dinner at the Solarium Bistro, I always try to grab a couple of reservations ahead of time. Keep in mind that the bistro is free, and you would potentially only need reservations for the evening meal. Breakfast and lunch are always walk-up, and while we have gotten in as walk-ups for dinner, a reservation is the only way to guarantee your spot. We have actually seen cruisers turned away because they didn't book in advance.
But if you will be on a Royal Caribbean ship and you've always wanted to try specialty dining, here is the ultimate hack. Look for the specialty lunch. It's usually much cheaper, sometimes half the price of dinner, but you still get a nearly identical menu and that same high-end experience. Karen has even been able to grab us lunch at Giovanni's for as low as $12.99 a person. Now, before we wrap up our planning, we have to talk about the one thing that can ruin all this P.P.A.I.D preparation before the cruise even starts.
You're talking about the flight day gamble, aren't you?
Exactly. Our number one rule for planning is to always arrive at your port city at least one day before you sail. Missing out on your cruise because a flight was delayed or a connecting flight was canceled would be extremely disappointing.
And it is not worth the stress. Arriving a day early turns travel day into vacation day 0. You can explore the port area, have a nice dinner, a good night's sleep, and you are not panicking if the airline has a hiccup.
And one last thing while you are doing your final prep, make sure you hit the bank. You are going to need a stack of small bills, like 1s and 5s, for tipping the porters at the pier, your shuttle drivers, excursion operators, and possibly your favorite bar and restaurant staff.
That is a great point because you should also keep in mind that many port area vendors only accept cash. You do not want to miss out on a great local souvenir just because you only have a credit card. Now that you have your checklist ready and your P.P.A.I.D up, you are officially ready for the best part, Embarkation Day.
That is right. In our next episode, we will focus on tip number 6, Embarkation Day strategies. We are going to walk you through every step of that first day of your vacation.
We will be showing you how we approach getting to the port, how to navigate security like a pro, and our insider secrets for that first afternoon on board. You definitely will not want to miss it.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our tried and true game plan for a calmer first day.
Until then, may your planning be easy and your adventures unforgettable. Until next time.
And don't forget, for savvy cruising, we're your source, and we'll see you on the next cruise course.